Here are my various stations that I have set up. This bench here is for information, for keeping my record of what I'm doing, for supplies, and for the kit, and so on. Okay, and then over here, I've basically used to trim pieces when I need to trim them. So I use that board and those saws and a little square, and pencil and ruler. And then here is where I clamp and glue the ribs that I have bent. And here's my various chisels and gouges. So right now here, the lower bout is what I bent earlier, and then I have glued that one and clamped it. This one I just bent, and I'm going to let it sit. I moistened it a little bit and let it sit clamped up before later, probably this evening, I'll do the gluing, because I want to make sure that this bend is set. So I've got water for later when I glue it, for wiping away excess glue. I've got my fish glue there, got a board for putting the glue on, and the brush for applying the glue. Oh, and that piece of soap for soaping the parts of the mold next to the blocks so I don't get glue on the blocks. And then here is where I'm doing the bending. So I discovered something about the bending, that if I set my bender to 175, it will be constant at 165, so it's kind of weird. So it actually registers 10 degrees Celsius below what I set it to. And that 165 seems to work better because the bending went much more easily today. And here's the bending strap and a little block that I sometimes use. Oh, and here I have my sharpening stones handy if I need to sharpen. So everything has its station, which helps as I'm doing this process. Here's what I did before I went off to a meeting at church this morning. Had a little bit of time, so I bent the lower bout rib and slightly moistened it and clamped it up to set, so that by the time I get back from church, I can do the gluing. Okay, I got back from church and I glued the lower bout rib now that it was set pretty well. And I first put a little bit of glue on the block itself, and then I pressed the rib down on top of the block so I can see easily what part of the rib needs the glue. And then I clamp it down. Okay, this is what it looks like at about 225. I just finished bending the upper bout rib. It is not glued yet, but I kind of moistened it again and I clamped it to make sure that the bend sets well. So later, probably tonight, when it dries, I will do the gluing of the upper bout rib.